By the time you hear this, I should be at an ashram in India doing a big, hopefully panchakarma detox, and almost certainly highly recommended not to get on social media or touch my computer, which is really kind of anathema to me. I love social media. I love writing. I love my computer. I love my phone, but I'm going to do what I'm told because apparently this detox is super powerful and you don't really have the brain space to be doing anything else. So instead, I'm going to give you a very quick rundown about the astrology for the week ahead. And then I'm actually going to hand you over to something I recorded earlier in my Kickstart workshop, which people were able to access when they got my diary. It's just a small section of it. I hope the people who bought the diary won't mind. But it's about one of the biggest things happening at the end of March, which is Neptune, the planet of dreams and the divine changing signs. And Neptune's really on my mind at the moment because the ashram is really Neptunian. Neptune's moving from Pisces into Aries, so it's the start of a new cycle spiritually for all of us. Neptune's the planet of soulmates and dreams and poetry. Okay, so I will hand that over to you. If you want to hear the whole workshop, we also talked about Saturn, the taskmaster, lucky Jupiter, crazy Uranus, the eclipses, the retrogrades. If you would like to get access to the whole of the Kickstart workshop, you can get that for free when you buy and register a copy of my Moonology diary at moonmessages.com/my diary. moonmessages.com/my diary. Just register your copy there and you can get the whole workshop for free.
What's in the stars?
All right, so looking at the astrology for this week, it's quite interesting. For a start, the sun is going to move into the sign of Aquarius. So wherever you have Aquarius is with the part of your chart that's going to be the focus now. Just check out my horoscopes, yasminboland.com, or if you're in Australia on yahoo.com.au, and you will see where the big focus for the coming 4 weeks is going to be. But then we're actually going to have a clash on January the 21st between Mercury and Chiron. Now, basically what this suggests is the start of this week, you kind of need to tread carefully. It might feel like everything's fine and hunky-dory, but before too long, this Mercury-Chiron clash could mean that some people are going to get their noses out of joint. Some people are going to be quite hurt. I know my son and their friends, or the youngsters of the world, talk about this thing about being butthurt. You know, it's like kind of overly sensitive. So if you know you're a little bit prone to being butthurt, it's not a very nice word, I know, but it's kind of came to my mind when I said it. You know, just be careful. I'm going to be, as you know, now doing the detox. So for me, it could be quite intense because, you know, Mercury squaring Chiron can feel quite, you know, like your head's being done in, like, oh, there's painful stuff coming up. And as I do my detox, there probably will be a bit of painful stuff coming up. So, you know, some of us will get it lightly, some of us will get it more intensely. Not least because as well, around the same time, we have the sun and it's conjoining Pluto. Now, Sun conjunct Pluto only happens once a year. It's taking place on January 21 in Australia, January 22 pretty much everywhere else in the world. And so it's just going to mean that the start of this week really is going to be pretty intense and on for young and old as we move through the waning cycle, which is the time to just let things go. So by the way, I'm very glad I'm doing my deep cleanse during the waning cycle. I have to, that's really great. And that's why I'm sure that's why I was moved to book those flights when I did. And then actually on the 24th of January, pretty much wherever you are in the world, we actually get a harmonious link between Mars and Uranus. So it can be that things start to turn around. So my advice would be, start the week really cautious and be careful and be gentle with yourself. This is a memo to me as well, to remember to do this, and then know that even if things do go a bit pear-shaped, by the end of the week, they can turn around, okay? So I want to hand you over now to a section from my Kickstart 2025 workshop that I did. The workshop was actually about an hour and a half long. This is just a short excerpt. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to be, maybe 10 minutes. And it's really about Neptune, the planet of dreams, the planet of the divine, the planet of the numinous. I just want to share with you because it's very rare for Neptune to change signs, okay? Neptune was in Pisces for a very long time, okay? It was actually in Pisces, I think, since 2011. And it will actually remain in Pisces sort of until next year, because what's going to happen now is that in March, Neptune's going to dip into Aries for a bit, give us a taste of what's to come. And then it's going to slip back into Pisces for a little bit longer. And then we'll have the last of the Neptune in Pisces era. It's really important, though, to know that as this first round of Neptune in Pisces takes place, we're going to get a sense of how it's going to play out for us, depending a lot on where in our chart it is. And in the excerpt I'm about to give you, you will hear where in your chart this Neptune in Aries is taking place. It actually starts on March the 30th. So listen up, and if you would like to get the whole of the workshop for free, remember, you can get it by buying a copy of my Moonology diary. If there are any copies left by the time you hear this, you just have to you can buy it anywhere, but you have to register it, or you can buy it from moonmessages.com/my diary. And I'll put a link in the description as well. All right, over to me. So basically, Neptune moving into Aries is huge. Like, Neptune has been in Pisces for the longest time, and finally it's going to change signs. So there's a couple of things to really know about Neptune. Neptune is about dreams, intuition, spirituality. Aries is very bold and courageous. So when we put these together, it's going to be very much a case of a whole new age dawning when it comes to mysticism and magic and intuition. So I think we can already see that happening in the world, can't we? Because already people are really starting to talk more about manifesting, to realize it's actually real, to know that we are all much more magical than we think, that there's more to life than meets the eye. I follow this page on Facebook, which seems to come up every night with a new story of people having near-death experiences, which I find really fascinating. So it's going to be more about realizing that mysticism really is real, and us all being a lot bolder about going for it. And it's going to be about learning how to blend, as I say here, blending intuition with action. Okay, so one thing we do always in Moonology is we don't just make wishes and just cross our fingers. We make wishes and we take action. So Aries is very much an action sign, so it's going to be about that. But it's also about mysticism and dreaming up your future, you know, and also about having the courage to really chase your dreams. Someone said, what did Rick say? I actually just rang Rick and said, we should do a conference because it's going to be so incredible, all the changes. And he was like, he actually replied and said, I'm just about to go on stage at a conference, but yes, let's do one. So now we'll see if we do one. So where is this in your chart? Now I'm going to run through it really quickly. Okay. And then wherever this is happening is where you're getting a lot more mysticism and dreams and imagination, but also Neptune has a downside. All the planets have positive and negative. It can be quite confusing. Okay, so, all right, if you are Aries rising, it's actually taking place in your first house, which means that your whole life is going to be imbued with this new magical, mystical energy, but also it could be a bit more confusion as well. So the idea is to meditate, you know, talk things through, journal, whatever you need to do in whichever part of your life I'm going to talk about, to try and get clarity, because Neptune's the confusing planet as well as the inspirational planet. If you are Taurus rising, then it's taking place in your 12th house. All right, now I wrote down what that is. You wrote that down. That's your fear zone. So it can be a bit of confusion, but it's also a very mystical thing for anyone who's Taurus rising. It's a very mystical cycle you're moving into. Gemini rising, it's moving into your 11th house, which is friends. So expect more mystical friends, okay? Cancerians, moon children, it's taking place in your 10th house. So it's going to be a time of moving into a more inspirational period in your career, but also possibly confusing. Leo rising, it's in your 9th house. So like the ideal expression of this would be, you know, traveling the world and going to all the sacred sites or studying mysticism. Virgo rising, it's taking place in your 8th house of sex and money. So great time for tantric sex, not a great time to let anyone bamboozle you about cash. Libra rising, it's taking place in your 7th house. Now, anyone here who's Libra rising, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on for you guys. Oh, you are, Alexandra, because it's your 7th house of relationships. So it can be a time of meeting a very inspirational person. And it can also be careful of meeting someone who's a little bit dodgy. So you've got to be careful, Alexandra, and any other Libra rising people. Scorpio rising, it's taking place in your 6th house. Really good time to have a regular meditation practice. That's probably the best expression of that, getting mysticism in your life and in every day, and that's going to raise your vibration, make you more powerful manifestor. Sagittarius rising, it's taking place in your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children. How long is the workshop? I'm aiming for an hour, but I usually go over. Sag rising, so really it's about having fun with your spirituality. Capricorn rising, it's taking place in your 4th house of home and family. So that's actually quite nice. It can be a real shot of magic and mysticism into your personal life, also confusion potentially. So again, you have to walk that line. Aquarius rising, it's taking place in your 3rd house. So that means more thinking about mystical stuff. It's very much about reading books about mysticism, and also really learning the power of manifesting. And then finally, Pisces rising, it's taking place in your 2nd house. So a really, really good time to start earning your living using mysticism.